Hello, I'm Sophie from the Holistic Directory, and today we have with us Hayley Pearson from Serenity Touch. Hi, Hayley.
Hi, Sophie.
Thank you for joining us today. To give our listeners a little bit of background about you and Serenity Touch, do you want to tell us a little bit about you and why you got into the holistic field?
Yeah, no, quite happy to. I began learning about therapies after I had both of my children, which is about 17 years ago now. I had a lot of health issues after both of their births with postnatal depression, problems with the back, neck and shoulders. Conventional medicine helped, but it didn't help get rid of the problems. So I then started looking at complementary therapies. Thoroughly enjoyed what I was in sort of being treated with myself and decided to start training. The training began in 2006 with Indian head massage, and I got the bug. Lots of other things came along, and eventually Serenity Touch became my business, and I was able to help other people with things from massage to hot stones and eventually to my passion, which is Reiki.
So we're going to focus on Reiki today. Tell us a little bit about why you love Reiki so much.
One of the reasons I love Reiki so much is it was something that I never thought I would actually do. It sort of fell into my lap. I was told by a medium one day that I would learn Reiki, and this was before I began my therapy path. And at that time, I knew nothing about Reiki at all and thought it was one of these sort of hocus pocus, funny, witchy-fied sort of things because of not having the knowledge about it. Once I'd learned other therapies, I then decided to do a vision board. A vision board is where you have ideas of what you would maybe like to do, visions of where you would like to be in the future, and I just thought, oh, just put on there that we'd like to become a Reiki master. Made the board. Then I had an appointment to see the nurse at my local surgery, and to cut a long story short, she turned out to be a Reiki master and said if I wanted to, I could learn Reiki with her. So for me, the vision board made sense, the trip with the medium made sense, and I started doing my Reiki path in November 2009.
Fantastic. So for those people listening who aren't really 100% sure about what Reiki actually is and how it works as a treatment and the sorts of things it can help with, do you want to give us a little bit more information about actually the kind of the real core of what Reiki is, explain that, and then what treatments you would kind of recommend people have a Reiki treatment for?
Yes, yeah. Reiki is what they class as a non-intrusive, hands-on energy healing technique. It's a case of what happens is a person will be attuned to Reiki, so anybody can learn Reiki. We then channel the actual Reiki energy through the therapist, which then goes to the client. It can be a hands-on treatment so that the client can actually feel like something is happening for them, and you can place your hands on different areas of the body that maybe as the therapist you feel drawn to go to, but you can also work in the energy fields. Reiki can help with many, many different things. And it also has what they call its own unique life force, which means that if there's an area of the body that needs a little bit of a helping hand, the Reiki will go to there, whether we place our hands on the client's head, the client's feet, or anywhere else on the body. So it will go to where the body actually needs it, whether it's an emotional or a physical thing. It's fantastic for physical and emotional conditions because how it works is it tries to balance the organs and the glands of the body by hopefully restoring their correct function. It will help with the energy lines, it will help with the chakra points, it can also help with the immune system by trying to relieve pain and clearing toxins out of the body. Treatment is always carried out fully clothed, so there's no removal of clothes, and the client obviously is comfortable at all times. It can be carried out seated, or it can be carried out with the client laying down. Great things that can come from are very emotional conditions like depression, postnatal depression, anxiety, panic attacks. Insomnia is a really, really good one, because during the Reiki treatment, people do tend to become very, very relaxed. And I've had many clients fall asleep as well. Physical ailments that can be helped are problems if somebody's got a specific pain in another part of the body. We can get hands on with the healing energy, and the heat and the energy from the hands can help with problems like that as well.
Fantastic. So for people who are thinking maybe it is a bit hocus pocus, would you say that you need to actually be a believer in Reiki and the kind of the energy thing for it to work? Or actually, have you found that when you've done treatments on people that are kind of coming along because maybe they've been cajoled into coming along by somebody who cares about them, that actually they are, you know, transformed and their opinion is transformed once they've actually had a treatment and found that it works?
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to believe in, like you say, the hocus pocus, the energy. You don't have to believe that you know what is actually going to happen. Again, because Reiki has its own intelligence, it goes to where you need it, whether you believe it can help or not. Most people who do come along, especially for first sessions, don't know what to expect, have possibly tried out at taster treatments and had maybe a 10 or a 15-minute tryout, thought this is doing some good, we'll try it. So no, it's a case of if you don't understand what's happening, you don't know actually what's happening, it doesn't matter too much, because it still will work how it needs to for each individual person.
Fantastic. So you do Reiki, and I think you also do Karuna Reiki. Now, I've also heard of Karuna Ki, which you've told me are two different things. So do you want to tell us the difference between different types of Reiki? Are there other types of Reiki as well? And, what are the benefits of the different ones? Do you give people the option of one or the other, or do you just go straight in with the Karuna Reiki because you've stepped up to that level? Or, kind of how does that work?
Yeah, there is differences. Obviously, the traditional Reiki, which most people know about, is the Usui Shiki Ryoho Reiki. This is the one that was first sort of adapted, not invented, because it wasn't invented, it's always been there. It's just been refound by a chap called Dr. Mikao Usui. He was the first Reiki Grand Master, which eventually has been passed down over the years. And also we have another chap, an American chap called William Lee Rand, who obviously became a Reiki master in the Usui form of Reiki. But over time, he then redeveloped another form of Reiki, which was the Karuna Reiki. This one's a registered trademark, but you've also got, like you mentioned, the Karuna Ki Reiki. The Karuna Ki Reiki is, in essence, very, very similar to the Karuna Reiki, although the Karuna Ki it's branched off from the Karuna Reiki because it was developed and redeveloped by other people other than William Lee Rand. So it works in slightly different ways. The Usui Reiki tends to be a nice, quiet, hands-on treatment, whereas with Karuna Reiki, there's a lot more symbols involved, which don't have to be vocally used, but can be if obviously clients want it. You do find the energies are raised up and are higher using the symbols through the means of chanting and toning. Obviously, when I have clients come to me, it's a case of I do use both forms of Reiki during a treatment, and I do make people aware that if they wish, the Reiki can be channeled using the chanting and toning of the Karuna symbols, or again, it can just be a nice, quiet treatment using both forms of Reiki, but obviously we don't use the chanting of the different symbols. I have found that people who do come for Reiki and enjoy the Karuna Reiki with the chanting find that the energy is more powerful. They have had more results, if that's the word, of how they're feeling, and do come back for more of that Reiki. For myself, I find the differences in the forms of energy from the Karuna and the Usui Reiki is with the Karuna, it's more softer, it's more compassionate, it's more loving, it feels a softer energy. Don't get me wrong, both forms of energy are wonderful, but I just find it has a more gentler approach. and tends to find the cause of something that little bit easier than with the Usui Reiki.
Okay, so is Reiki something that you would be able to do on yourself? And, what sort of training is there available to it? Is it difficult to get into, or is it quite easy to find?
No, I mean there's lots of practicing Reiki master teachers out there now, and if it is something that you are interested in, they do say that you need to find the right Reiki master teacher for you, and you will find that right person, or they might find you, which is what happened with me. It just literally fell into my lap. With the Usui Reiki, you've got different levels. Anybody can learn Reiki. You don't need to have what they call an affinity for it. You don't need to feel like you need to understand about the energy. When I first started, I'd never done anything like this at all. I'd not done any meditation. I'd not done anything like the vision boards that I was talking about. I didn't really understand everything that was involved. So I was like what you call a Reiki virgin, and went in not knowing anything about it. I then done my Reiki 1, which is either the Reiki first degree level, which anybody can do. This level is all about self-healing. Hence you have to be what we call more of a pure vessel if you eventually want to go on and help practice on other clients. So Reiki 1 is all about making sure that we cleanse ourselves, we cleanse each of our chakras and make sure that we're a good working person. You can then, if you wish to become a practicing Reiki therapist, go on and do your Reiki second degree, the level 2. Once you've got this qualification, you can then become an insured practicing therapist, so you can work on the paying public if you want to. You do find a lot of people who do Reiki 1 do go on to Reiki 2 just because it increases the level of the energy. It raises that vibration up a little bit higher so that you can feel more and do more. Then if you do want to, like myself, eventually be able to teach this fantastic therapy to others, you can go on and do Reiki 3, which is the Reiki Master Teacher level. There's 2 parts to this one. You can either become what they call a Reiki practitioner, so again you just raise the energy level up, or if you want to teach, you go on to do the Reiki Master Teacher, which eventually gives you the different attunements so that you can then attune other people.
Fantastic. That's really good. So what tip would you give someone if they were starting out as a Reiki practitioner to then go and do it as a therapy? I know that there are quite a few people, especially in the current economic climate, who are thinking about starting up, maybe doing a therapy, looking at the different options available. As Reiki as a therapy, A, would you recommend it as something that people offer? And B, obviously starting out, what tips would you give them to be able to connect with different people and get new clients in and all of that kind of stuff that obviously you've had to deal with as a business person yourself?
It's always obviously difficult starting up any new business. You do find nowadays that holistic therapies along with Reiki massage is a lot more popular than it used to be, so that people are obviously happy to try different things. Reiki is always a great therapy to have along with anything because it helps to emphasize what you are doing. Anybody who's trying to get a business up and running, especially a holistic business, the best way really is to possibly try out different therapists in your local area. Go and have a chat with them, go and see how they are, because what you do find is we're all in the same business. None of us are competitive, so we all like to help each other out. Best form of advertising tends to be word of mouth, so that's always great if you can get your name out there to lots of local people. Good ways of starting to do things like that is to try and go to some of these mind, body and spirit fairs so that you can offer tasted treatments to new people. You could also find lots of pamper events and pamper evenings that might be going on in your local areas at village halls, local schools, because they're always a great way to try and cut into your local areas. For myself, I found that Reiki has heightened everything, so it gives me the right mindset and the right focus point on where I want to be and where I want to go.
Fabulous. Well, I think we've kind of covered it on the Reiki front, and I think people will listen to this and think that that's been really, really interesting, and it's been a really good insight into you and Serenity Touch and Reiki and all the wonderful things that it can do. So hopefully we will get in touch with you again and have another little chat about some of the other things that you do, like your hot stones and other things like that. So if somebody wanted to get in touch with you about potentially doing some Reiki training with you, or actually booking in a treatment, or finding out more, or anything else, what would be the best way for them to get in touch with you?
Probably the best way to get in touch would be to look at my website, which is serenitytouch.co.uk, where you get all my contact details either via phone or email. I also have a Facebook page, which obviously is Serenity Touch. If you like that, you can contact me via then. And it has all details of all training that I do and all the treatments that I do offer. So nice and easy to read about what I do and see.
Fantastic. Well, thank you ever so much for being with us today. It's been lovely to have you, and we'll look forward to speaking to you again very soon.